Will Russia try to interfere in the upcoming German elections? That is what Stefan Meister expects will happen. Stefan Meister is the head of the International Order and Democracy Program at the German Council on Foreign Relations and a keen observer of Russia's relations with its Western neighbors. Stefan, you have written a paper in which you give several recommendations to the next German government. But before we talk about the future, let's briefly look back at the past 4-year term. What has been the German government's threat concerning Russia?
I would describe this policy as a critical dialogue. So as a policy which reacts to a more assertive, to a more aggressive Russia in the common neighborhood, but also inside of the EU, which tries to resist or to build more resilience against this more aggressive Russia, but at the same time is looking for dialogue, is keeping also the communication channels open with the Russian leadership, trying to solve conflicts, to work on the conflicts, and keep the contact because of an understanding that Russia is an important actor in the neighborhood of the EU and beyond.
And many things have happened in the past 4 years that have soured the relations between Germany and Russia. Can you name maybe an instance where you've seen an example of this German policy towards Russia?
Russian leadership has no interest to solve conflicts. It's using conflicts to protect power and to improve its bargaining position. And I think a good example is Donbass, is the conflict on Ukraine, so the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, where Germany played a major role also in negotiating a ceasefire agreement and trying to find a solution also for this conflict. On one hand, I think we could see that Germany was supporting sanctions against Russia in the context of its aggression against Ukraine. On the other hand, in the context of the Normandy format and the Minsk agreements, it tried really to stay in contact with the Russian leadership, to constantly negotiating compromises and also offering to the Russian leadership solutions and compromises. So you see this kind of mix of putting Russian leadership more under pressure and sanction it also for its aggression, but at the same time being in contact and negotiating also solutions.
And with the election coming up, I want to take a quick look back to 2015, because back in that year, the Bundestag, the German parliament, was a victim of a hacker attack, and German security sources afterwards concluded that indeed this attack was from Russia. Have you seen any indication that Russia is trying to mingle in these 2021 elections?
Yes, I think so. I think this is a crucial election not only for Germany, because Angela Merkel will leave after so many years, but it's also for the European Union a key election, because Germany is a leading country, or the leading country in the EU. So it's definitely a target of Russian disinformation. And we can see this in Russian media, also in foreign media, who is attacking different parties. I think there's a strong focus on attacking Green Party, which is highly critical about Nord Stream 2 and Russian policy, Russian current policy. We can see also how Nord Stream 2 is used to muddle into German politics. I think we at the moment we don't have proofs that this hacker attack, for instance, is used against certain kind of people, but I'm pretty sure that information from this hacker attack on several politicians is also used in Russian media or in networks, Russian networks in Germany.
Maybe looking forward now, so we will have a new government from probably November, December onwards. And the Greens might be part of that government, but also a lot of other coalition options are possible. Regardless of this party coalition, what do you think should be the top 3 priorities of the upcoming German government?
The first point is to accept that this is a different Russia than it was a couple of years before, and not wanting a dialogue with a Russia we don't have anymore. And I think a key task for the new government is to have a realistic communication also on what is possible and what is not possible with the Russian leadership towards the German society, not to raise expectations that there is more cooperation possible with a country who has no interest at the moment to cooperate. I think this is the first point. The second point is that we will see a more aggressive Russia in its neighborhood and beyond, also military aggression, but also muddling into domestic issues of EU member states. And I think it's really important to improve resilience, to improve also analysis of Russian policy, changing Russian policy, strengthening military means, but also in terms of communication and cybersecurity. That would be the second point. And the third point is there is a need for a dialogue with the Russian leadership. So to demonize Russian leadership because of its more authoritarian policy and maybe it's muddling into domestic issues, I think is not the right approach. And we need Russia, for instance, for Afghanistan, for Syria, for Libya. So there is a need, despite all the problems, to have a communication channel also with Russian president, with Russian leadership on these issues of common interests. And to find maybe also solutions. This can also include climate change. It can also include green transition. So topics Russian economy might be interested in.
Looking at the upcoming months, you have now named 3 approaches towards the Russian side. Do you see any chance where this new German government could actually realize your priorities? Like, is there any event or issue?
It's good to have a change of the government and to have new people, maybe with a fresh look on the whole situation. So I think it's really crucial to recognize the reality of the regime in Moscow and also to realize the limits Germany has, but also the opportunities we have. So in terms of instruments in the transatlantic relations, but also in the EU. I don't see any specific event coming up. So I don't see at the moment the willingness also of the Russian leadership really to compromise on key issues. But I can imagine that, for instance, Afghanistan is a major issue where also Russian leadership has an interest in stability. It needs also somehow European support maybe here, or we can at least contribute to stability. And I think a dialogue on Afghanistan could really make sense also to stay in dialogue with the Russian leadership, but also to find some solutions on a key issue for both sides.
Stefan, thank you for providing us with this overview.
Thank you. Great pleasure.
Everyone wanting to know more, I invite to read Stefan Meister's new paper. You will find a link to it in the description below, as well as many other analyses by his colleagues. Thank you for watching, and feel free to subscribe to our channel for more insights on Germany's foreign policy.